Hey guys, welcome to Steve Mululu Show again. It's another fine day, and today we're going to talk about the effect of thoughts on your life. Your life is a manifestation of your thoughts. Or in other words, your life is simply a byproduct of what you think. But before we dig deeper into this topic, we have to first and foremost thank our main sponsors of the show, Dream Body Fitness. With their philosophy of I can, I will, and I must, Dream Body Fitness have tried, tested, and proven systems that deliver results guaranteed. Achieving your goals starts with a decision. We are here to support you and guide you every step of the way. But the decision to commit, that's entirely on you, buddy. Let us go back to the topic of the day. Bad thinking leads to bad life. We live our lives based on our thinking, and unfortunately, in this society, nobody teaches us how to think, and especially how to think correctly. Right thinking leads to good living, and negative thinking leads to bad living. Most of us are under constant attack. We have become victims of our own negative, incorrect thinking. Our thoughts are constantly murdering us, and this, my friend, is a slow, painful death that can only be stopped by one person, and that's you. Self-defeating thoughts can be short-lived or part of a condition we actively work to manage, often which gets manifested as anxiety and depression. Either way, they don't feel good. We all have them, and it's important to catch ourselves when we start to notice them. We can do this by working as our own fact checker. We do this with major debates, the news, and when someone else tells us something we're not sure is true. The crazy thing about this is that we generally don't do this when it comes to our own thoughts or internal monologue. We assume these thoughts and ideas are 100% accurate, even when some of them are not. As much as we would like to believe our own thoughts are always the truth, the fact is that in most cases they are simply fake news. These specific negative and untrue thoughts are what are called cognitive distortions. Specifically, these are thoughts that reinforce negative thinking patterns that generally have little to no basis in reality. Essentially, they are the words of our inner critic, not the voice of truth. According to Psych Central, some of the most common distortions are called filtering, polarized thinking, and overgeneralization. The best way to arm yourself against these distortions, these present and continuous enemies, is recognize when they're happening and get inside your own head. Don't be scared to tell yourself your thoughts are wrong, especially when they are self-defeating. You can either be your best friend or your worst enemy. Don't you want to have your own back? Let us take a closer look at these top 3 cognitive distortions and how we can better arm ourselves to deconstruct them. Number 1, filtering. This is when we selectively filter out all positive instances and only focus on the negative. You know those meetings where your boss tells you 10 things you are great at and 1 area for growth, but all you think about is the 1 negative? This is filtering. Instead of focusing on the area for growth, write down the 10 things that you are complimented on and focus on this. We are much better off building on our strengths than we are focusing on 1 thing we are not great at. It's okay to be mindful for your own growth areas, but it's not so great when we let them consume us. When we focus on our strengths, growth areas often improve as a result. Note how I call these growth areas and not weaknesses. Words matter. Use words that build you up, not tear you down. Never ever use your own words to curse your own life. Second one is what we call polarized thinking. Polarized thinking is a case of looking at things simply as black and white, right and wrong. If you're not first, you are last. I either do everything at the gym or nothing at all. This is polarized thinking. What is the best way to combat it? Focus on progress and not progression. Success is in the details, and keeping a gratitude journal or list of victories over the course of the week makes a big difference. Consistency is essential to achieving any goal, not being perfect. The more we practice consistency and progress in anything we do, whether it be it at work, health goals, or relationships, the better off we are at it. I don't know how many times we will have to tell ourselves this, but every little bit counts. Anything else is polarized thinking. It's okay to live in the gray area. We don't have to live on both extremes. In the middle can still be a good area where you take your breath and you figure out your way going forward. The third one is what we call overgeneralization. Taking one instance of something happening and then applying the result to all other areas is what we call overgeneralizing. I did this when I visited the States. I went to one immigration officer with a bitter, horrible attitude, had a terrible experience, and swore it off for good. Not just this specific officer, but for the rest of my life I swore never ever to go back to the States. To be honest, I still haven't gone back, and this is something I need to give another shot. I can't take one bad person or experience and apply it to every American I see. Scientists don't take one finding in a small sample and then announce it to the world as the absolute truth, and neither should we. It's bad science. What is the moral of the story? Investigate your thoughts and refute them. If you catch yourself having self-doubt in any area, be sure to examine why and look for the positives. The more we focus on this, the more we hardwire the pathways to positive thinking and make it part of our natural thinking process. That is the cool thing about our brains. The more we focus on something, the more hardwired it becomes. They always say it in a very simple word. Whatever you wire fires. So if we think positive, we're going to be positive, and the same vice versa. Be a mad scientist. Destroy the fake news in your brain and so are the fake news in your life. Don't be afraid to question your own thinking. After all, we know ourselves best, and if we don't call ourselves out on our own bullshit, who will? To the best you. Hope to catch you again in our next episode. Adios, amigos.